you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peter Likes Books. Today we're going to do a book tag, but it's kind of like a book discussion, which is good because this is like the third or fourth video that I've made today, and I have been really sick the last couple days. I found out that I have strep, and I'm on an antibiotic now, but I wanted to make a video. You guys know I love to make videos, so I didn't want to go a day without making videos, but I have a feeling that like in a half an hour from now, I'm not going to have a voice anymore, so I just want to get this out and make this video. So here we go, and then I can read for the rest of the night, and so let's just get right into this video. Are you ready? It is called The Best Book Related Memories Tag. It's an original book tag. It's made by Lily Bloom. Here she is. It's very sweet, you guys. And I loved watching it. She tagged me in it. She tagged me on Twitter. If you guys want me to do a book tag that you come up with or that you tag me in, tag me in Twitter too on Peter Likes Books. That's probably the easiest way for me to see that you guys have tagged me in that. So I went in here and I watched this video, and it's just very endearing. She's like sitting in her bed and she's like talking about these. It's very sweet. So I went over my bookshelf and I was like, okay, and you know, sometimes when I do book tag videos, I like try to like give different books and all this kind of stuff. But it was interesting what happened for me because I went and I looked at my bookshelves, and all of a sudden like very like specific books like just stood out to me. I have to say that probably my strongest memory of life of reading is related to recovery material. But in keeping to the traditions of the 12-step program that I work, I'm gonna leave that off this video. But I just think that that needs to be said, because if it wasn't for the recovery material that I have read, I don't think that I would be sitting here today making a video for BookTube. So I'm extremely thankful for all of that, and if you guys have more questions about that, or you're wanting to get sober, or you know, all that kind of stuff, email me, leave it in the comment section below, and I'll try to help you out as much as I can. But let's get right into this. So the first book that I'm going to talk about is probably not a book that will surprise you guys much, and that is Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird. You guys know that this is like my all-time, I just felt tears come to my eyes, so I may get real emotional over this. I don't know, I just feel emotionally weak from being sick. Do you guys ever feel that way? PP's right here and he's like looking up at me. He's like, Dad, are you gonna cry? But you guys know that this is my all-time favorite book of life. And what's interesting to me is that if you go in here and you look at the book, my mom's friend, Vicky, gave this to me when I was like in 6th grade. I would have been at 1986, which I was born in 72, July 4th. So I would have happy birthday. So I would have just turned 14, which would have been what, 7th grade? And I think that we had just gone to see it see the play at Indiana Repertory Theater. And she said, Peter, happy birthday. The book is always more detailed than the play. And, you know, I go back and I look at this. I'm reading this book for the month of November on my BookTube channel as a group buddy read. So if you want to do it, have at it. But she said book related. And what's interesting to me about this is I don't actually remember the last time that I read this book. It probably was when I was like 14, 15, or 16. But I have very much watched the movie every year, twice a year. I love the movie so much. Mary Badham, who plays Scout, is hands down one of my all-time favorite actresses, even though she only did that, and I know her in one other thing, which is a Twilight Zone episode where she dives to the bottom of the pool and comes out into this lake. Did you guys ever see that episode? But Mary Badham now goes and she speaks about To Kill a Mockingbird, and she goes to universities and she tells, and there's a lot of YouTube videos about it, especially when the Ghost Set of Watchmen by Harper Lee came out. She talked a lot about it, and we're going to talk about that in just a second, so stay tuned. But when I was growing up, every fall, my mom and I would watch To Kill a Mockingbird several times in October, and you know, like for me, even though a lot of it takes place in the summer or the fall, it very much for me is an autumn Halloween movie book. And I think it is because it ends, you know, on Halloween, the Halloween fair at the school with Scout as a ham and all that kind of stuff. And the movie to me is just fantastic. And it's homey, and it's chili dinners, and it's, you know, apple cider and apple muffins and yeast donuts and all of that. That's what To Kill a Mockingbird is to me. I think I just listed all foods. But, you know, candles and going to sleep early and the fall wind outside. It's all of that to me. You know, the rustle of the wind. I will always think about that with Scout and Jim. When my mother passed away, I read a eulogy at her funeral, and I was going to try to find this part, and I forgot to say it, but at the very end of the book, when Scout and Jim go to the school for the thing, she says something to the effect of, "Yet we began our longest journey ever." And that always reminds me of my relationship with my mom, and how, you know, these moments in our lives that sometimes you don't know are going to be so profound and important to you at the time, looking back, are sometimes the longest journeys of our lives. And I just love this book. I think in its simplest form, it's beautiful, it's innocent, and it is profound, and I love it. And it is my all-time favorite book and movie. So the next book that I have lots of memories with, and so all of my memories of my mom are connected to this book. The next book that came out, or that I'm going to talk about, which is very, very sad in telling that came out after my mom had passed away, because she would have loved, I don't know if I'm like, would she have read it or not? And that is Harper Lee's Go Set a Watchman. And if you guys have ever seen the original cover, it's almost similar to this. And so, you know, there was a lot of controversy over whether or not Harper Lee really ever wanted this book told or like put out or whatever. And it's about Jean Louise as she's grown up. If you're a lover of To Kill a Mockingbird and you've never read this book because you feel like you need to stand against it, I would just say to you, try it. For me, it reads very much as like a duology. It reads very much as a sequel to Kill a Mockingbird to me. There are parts of it that they have said that she wrote this first, and then they told her to take these pieces and turn To Kill a Mockingbird into it. It makes a lot of sense when you read it. There's a part when Dill, Scout, and Jim are recreating this whole kind of like religious thing that's very funny and very telling of it reads very much of To Kill a Mockingbird. The story is fantastic. It was, you know, I read it literally overnight. I had like 5 friends of mine that we were all reading at the same time. We were so excited. It was literally like, I think, the book of my generation that was going to come out that we were all waiting for, because we grew up with this book. And so we grew up with To Kill a Mockingbird. So for the sequel to come out that had this mystery around it, you know, that she supposedly, you know, Harper Lee was supposedly this recluse, which we found out later that she really wasn't. But then this book came out, you know, and what did she want it to? Did she not want it to? And all this kind of stuff. A lot of people have issues with Atticus in the book. If you go and you watch the interviews with Mary Badham, who talks about her role as Scout and what she thinks about this, she says in there that you have to remember the time that the book was written. And that at the time that this book was written, small towns in the South would have been perceived in a completely different way. And while I'm not justifying or condoning any of Atticus's behavior in the book, very much the issues that Scout, Jean Louise, has with her father in this book. And it's very much a book of when we realize that our parents have grown up and we see them as human beings in different ways, it does make sense, and it does explain a lot, and it is a book about, I think, understanding, compassion, and forgiveness. I will never forget reading this book, because for me it was kind of very much the nail in the coffin of my relationship with my mom and all the memories that I had with her, because we always wondered like what would happen to Scout and Dylan. Now we know, and if you've read this book, page 5 will kill you. So anyway, the final, Lily, why'd you do this to me today? The last book that I'm going to talk about, oh my God, I'm going to get so emotional talking about this one too, is of course my book, The Before Now and After Then, by Peter Monn. There's my picture on the back. Published by Pen Name Publishing. And it's interesting telling why this is a memory to me. You know, the whole book, the whole process of writing it, I wrote in 3 weeks. It's not the most fantastic novel in the world. It's not the worst novel in the world. I'm very proud of it. And is it as good as my next piece? Hopefully not, which is coming out next year. So, but, you know, I spent a lot of time on here writing the acknowledgments. And I think for me, that's why it means so much to me. So when we talk about the memories, this is the memory in my acknowledgments. I'm going to bawl my eyes out, you guys, telling this. So you're just going to have to deal with it. And if you want to unsubscribe because you cannot stand emotionally weak people on video, get over it. But the last acknowledgement on here, which is is interesting. Hold on a second, because I want to show you who is next to me in every video that I make. Aww. Is a little peepee. Can I kiss? I love you, buddy. So the very last acknowledgement, if you go in here, my acknowledgements are very long. And the last acknowledgement says, and one last acknowledgement, I have been blessed to have been given the friendship of many dogs in my life. Benji, Clifford, Jolie, Billy, Bobo, Coco, Griffin, Tucker, Boo Radley, and Pee-Pee. It has been said that a dog is a man's best friend, but I will take that one step further. A dog is further. A dog is the true companion of a writer's soul. Of everyone who has helped me the most, it has been my dog Pee-Pee, who has slept next to me while I wrote, took breaks outside with me while I watched the moon, and who listened to me vent about my journey. To him, I will be forever indebted. And I think, like, for me, as dogs get older, you know, you think a lot about, like, how long will they live and the things that you'll remember about them. Sitting there at that computer over there and writing that book and having little Pee-Pee right next to me on the floor, sleeping, waiting for me to take him outside and say, Dad, is it time to go out? You know, and we would go outside at 4 o'clock in the morning in April, and the sky would be beautiful, and I would, like, talk out loud to him as if he was listening, you know, about the characters that I was writing, and the ideas that I had. And that will always be the memory that I hold closest to my heart of my dog, as well as writing the book. So those are my 3 memories. I'm not going to tag anybody in this because I'm too emotional to even think straight about it. But if you would like to do this video, please do it. I think it's a fantastic, fantastic tag video. So thank you so much. I love you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.